Hello, Hive. I am re-recording this video because one thing I have to admit is that I did the first one kind of quickly and wasn't real prepared. So we've all done it, right? So I'm re-recording, and what I want to bring to you are two things. One, I want you to notice that probably under this somewhere, maybe above it, I've posted the Mudhouse Sabbath questions for chapter 1, Shabbat. Hi, Allison. I miss you. So those are there for you. They're both listed in question form, and then they're in picture posts if you want those. But the second thing I bring to you is a recommendation, and that is most of us probably have this copy of Mudhouse Sabbath, which is the one that was written a while back. Lauren has since published a new version of this book. So this was done in like 2003. It's old. So she's done a study version of it. And what she says in the introduction resonates with me. And that is that she was rushing when she wrote the book, as I often rush, like I did through the first video. And she had initially set out for the first book to have 12 chapters instead of 11. And she didn't finish. And so what she talks about in the study book is the importance of study. And she talks about the importance of justice. And so what she's woven through this first chapter that is not present in the first chapter that many of us are reading is a lot of quotes from different theologians about justice and how justice is incorporated with the Sabbath. So what she includes in that is talking about the justice of the land, that the Sabbath is not just for people, but it's also for the earth. So she invites us to think about in what ways do we allow the earth to rest? Because in the Old Testament, lands had to lay fallow. It's still a practice, I think, that a lot of farmers have, that every 7 years or how often you rotate your crops, right? Because it rests the land. But in our eating practices and in our resting practices, do we also let our land rest? Or are we using it to its full capacity? So that's something that's different in the study guide. So I thought I'd put that in the video. The other thing is she talks about the justice of workers and of people. So this is something that I think we've had a conversation about here on the Hive. And last year, if you're interested in listening to a great sermon on rest, you can go into the Way of Love, and you'll find that Callie Swanland, our dear friend, has a sermon on rest. And she talks a little bit about the justice of rest too. And I'll try to see if I can find her amazing discussion that we had about a year ago on this. But it's the idea of, when is rest a privilege? And if so, what does that mean? Because there are a lot of people in this world who cannot take a Sabbath. They cannot practice Shabbat. So think about that and think about the justice of that. But she also calls us to think about what practice do we have that allows the people who clean our toilets and take out our trash to rest. And that's about it. There's also a ton of really great quotes. And so if you're a little bit of a kind of geek out over theology and stuff like that, there's some pretty cool things laced throughout this guide, and I'll just try to point those out in the videos from here on out. But now I think I've talked enough. So please hop on over to the comment thread and give an answer to some of the questions. There's 10 of them. So happy answering, and we'll see you on Thursday about 4 o'clock. And we will be talking about fitting food. All right, see you on Thursday, and look forward to talking to you on the comment thread. Bye, Hive.